everyone. This is Carolyn Muncie. I am from Ransomed Relics, as most of you know. I am coming on live here tonight. It's 7 o'clock. And I just wanted to announce that every other Friday night, two Friday nights out of every month, I will be live at this time on this station. So as you guys come on, let me know that you're on and tell me where you're from. So I am excited to be here. Make sure that you tell me where you're from and who you are and who's watching tonight. So as most of you know, if you've even looked at the Prima Redesign page today, you've seen quite a few of the transfers and you've seen the full reveals. I've got two pieces, actually three pieces. I've got a vanity, a dresser, and a little stool that goes with the vanity. And I redid those, and I just love them. I'm calling them the golden era because you know what? So many times, you know, as you know, we go through all of these little phases. You know, where something. Hi, Christy. Some, you know, from either it was just plain white and that's what everyone liked, and then we went to, you know, different fads. It's just part of life, you know. It's just like the bell bottoms have came back in, you know, at places. It's just all that thing. Well, the Gilded Age, you know, that gold era was when everything was glitzy and glam. And so the Prima transfer that I used, a lovely script, it just called for a little bit of a glitzy glam look, right? So that's what I tried to portray. And so I am from Ransomed Relics. If you haven't liked my page, please go over there and give me a holler, and so you can see what I do. But we're going to look at some transfers tonight, and many of you haven't seen them. So let's start with this one, and we are going to. Everyone really kind of liked the hand-painted transfers that I do. So I'm going to tell you how to take a flea market find, and we're going to remake it, and we're going to use these lovely transfers. And the thing that I love about the transfers, you guys, as I always say, is that you don't just use one, or at least I don't. I don't use just one transfer most of the time. Sometimes I do. But I use different transfers, and I cut out what I want. And then when you do that, it allows your transfers to go a lot farther. And so they really are very cost efficient once you realize instead of just getting one piece out of a transfer, you can get sometimes 2 and 3 pieces as you build them and build them into your own design. So that way, whenever you post them, people look and go, oh, I know that's a Prima transfer, but it looks a little different, you know? So that's kind of fun too. Hi, Sally. Hi, Kara. So glad you guys are joining. As you join on, let me know who's on here. But this transfer, and let me see what I did with the, had it in my hand. Oh, here it is. This transfer is called Blossom Flight, and it's birds, and you can just kind of see. It's just really pretty, and this is how the transfer is. Let me roll it out for you, and I think I'm going to use a little bit of that tonight on what we're going to do. And so look at that. Isn't that, I love birds, you guys. I just love it. And hopefully, are they right side up? They're right side up. Good. So look at that. It's just really, 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 really pretty. And you, in this transfer, you get 3. Looks like you get 3. These are really pretty. And they've got the blossoms with them. Isn't that pretty? I just really like it. I just really love these. So we're going to use a little bit of that. And we had one that I thought... Worn to Whimsy, Llewellyn did a fantastic job at portraying this one, and it is called Architecture, and it is golds. It's really, really neat architectural things, and look at how much you get there. I think you get, let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think it's 6 sheets, you guys. And they've got like let me see if I can find it. They've got like pillars, you know, like if you're doing, see the pillar right there? It's just all kinds of architectural designs. And so you can use this and you can build, go look at her piece. It's really, really pretty. It's on the Redesign thing, and she just did a lovely job. I'm plugging you, Lou Ellen. But she did a beautiful job. Everybody did a beautiful job. Here you've got some arches, you know, reminds me kind of like a cathedral. And you could paint inside of this. Of course, you know my mind always goes to painting. It just does, you guys. I can't keep my paintbrush out of my hand. So it's just who I am. Okay, and then we're going to go to, this one's really pretty. It's called Violet Hill. I want to show you that just a little bit here. It's got some really pretty, vibrant colors on here. And, uh-oh, I'm falling down here. It's got some really vibrant colors on this transfer. You can see the pretty blue, or the pretty greens and the pinks. And then it's also got this beautiful rose fuchsia color. I guess you would call it fuchsia, plummy fuchsia type, more plum, I guess, purplish. But look at that, isn't that so pretty? And I've noticed as I'm working with these transfers, and I don't know if Prima would agree with me, and I don't know that I'm speaking factual, but to me, they feel a little more durable and a little more, I wouldn't say thicker, but when they go off, they go on so nicely, you know, and they stick really, really, really well. And I don't know if they changed their formula or what. I mean, look at that. You know, I love that. I mean, these are just really, really lovely transfers, you guys. And then you've got this one, and all of us ambassadors, we kind of giggled and laughed about this one. But it is so cute. I mean, when you see it in person, it is adorable. I mean, I could just see this in a little boy's room. Hi, Roz. I could see this in a lot of applications. Let's say you're painting an ocean scene, or you're doing the ocean scene transfer from Prima. And you could put these on the sides of the drawers, you know, so that when they opened it, there'd be these fishes. Wouldn't that be cute? I think that'd be really cute. It's adorable, you guys, just absolutely adorable. They've done a great job. Now, so that's kind of the transfers. I used the one that I used, and I think it was called Wondrous Florals, and I don't have any more of it, so it went on the sides of my gilded gold age. So I didn't have any of that to show. But the last one I want to show you is, it's called Fungi Forest, right? And we were all teasing and laughing about it, but you know what? It's adorable. I just, you know, once you get your hands on it, it's like, it's really cute. And this is the one we're going to be working on today. We are going to cut it apart, and we're going to use parts of it. And that's my whole thing, you guys, is that if you want to use a transfer right out of the thing, it's awesome. You can do that. It's beautiful. But there's a lot of us who love to design what we want on our piece. And so these are tools. These are tools for us to use and to implement. So I went to, quite a while back, I went to, and let me get my area cleaned off, make sure I know where I've got my scissors and my paint. And I'm using Impasto paints from Prima tonight, you guys. And this is, it was really ugly. I hope I'm going to put that up there so you guys can see it. It's just one of those old, it probably came from Kirkland's. And it was, you know, just the old kind of iron type look, you know. And then I think it had like a wine bottle or something here, and you can see it's kind of long, you know, so we'll have to work at it in parts, right? But what I've done is I went ahead and I painted it. I think this is Dixie Belle drop cloth. I painted it, and I've already got some of my green and my background in, because I wanted us to take time and be able to build our transfers the way that we want to build them. And I think I'm going to use the Fungi forest here because I feel like that might be one of the ones that you guys say, well, I really couldn't really use that. But you know what? You're going to see how you can. And this is kind of a smaller surface. I want to use the bird one, and you can just kind of see. So I can choose and implement anything that I want to implement. Here's a butterfly. These are the toadstools, but I really like this flower right here. And we're probably going to use that, I think. But these turnips and carrots and that kind of stuff would be adorable, you know, like in a kitchen or something. And then on this page, look at that. Isn't that pretty? You know? And then you've got another couple butterflies here. And you've got this really cute little flower here, cute flower here. So I'm going to start cutting these out, and we will apply them. In my background, I painted it so that I can adjust it as I go, because sometimes you don't really know as you're painting your background exactly where everything's going to go. So I think I'm going to start out with this long type floral here. And as you can see, you've got so many transfers here that you're going to be able to break this up and probably use it on 2 to 3 to 4 pieces. You know, sometimes you don't want a whole transfer on it. Sometimes you just want you just want a little piece. So you can kind of see, let me get you guys down here. You can kind of see what that looks like. And whenever I take this off, let me get my rubbing tool. Whenever I take this off, then I will place it where I want it. And as I always say, you guys, if you're joining me, please let me know you're here. Ask any questions that you want to ask. And I think maybe I'm going to place this up like this, a little bit to where that flower is coming up out of the ground. If I wanted to, though, I could still place it down here. And then that would amplify that this ground is going on and on. You know what I mean? So I hope you guys can see that. So maybe I will put it down here. And maybe I might want some of it to go out of the lines and go maybe on my side there. So normally what I do is I try, if I'm going to do that, I normally try to put that down first and get that out of the way. And then I'll show you how you can modify these and make them work for you. And see, I've got that released now. So now I'm going to push this in a little bit because it's, it's on that lip. And I want that to go on my lip. So I'm going to push it. And you just it's kind of, if anybody's wallpapered, it's kind of like wallpaper. You follow your lines, and it normally does really, really good. So I'm just going to transfer this on. And I've got some impasto paints here. And Prima carries paint too. I don't know if you guys know that. But they carry, I really love the impasto paint. I really love the thickness of it. I love how it spreads. I mean, it's not the type of paint, you would be using it for your artist type deals. It's not the type of paint probably that you would use for a whole piece. But if you're doing hand-painted objects on your pieces, it's really is a perfect application for it. And you just kind of keep working your transfer. And like I said, the other weeks is that when you work your transfers like this, and if you have any of the halo effects, it's very easy to get rid of them, and there's several ways you can. One is sanding. you know, you can kind of sand them out. Now these you're not going to be able to see very much just because it's just really not leaving very much of a halo effect. So I don't really have to worry too much on this one. There's a couple things that I see. I don't like the look of that, and so I always try to remedy that. Some people, it doesn't bother them at all, and you want to make sure that you rub your transfer, you know, not harsh, but enough to where you're really causing that to go in there, you know. And so here we go. Let's go here. And I'm so glad you guys joined me tonight. Let's see, Sally says, we just left Arizona to come back to Washington State. It was 100 degrees 2 days after we left. Oh, wow. And then you said you're snowbirds. Well, that's awesome. You get the best of both worlds, don't you, Sally? All right, so here we go. So we've got this transfer on. Now, what you can do is you can build your transfers and get your, that's normally what I do, is I build my transfers and then I come back in and I hand paint them. So I know I want one of these butterflies on here, but let me build more of my transfer before I put a butterfly on. So here I've got the new transfer here, and I think it's Violet Hill, and I really like these little things, you know, and it's got handwriting on it, you know, but you can, if you don't want the handwriting, you can actually just kind of cut around it and fill in around it, you know. I like these little guys, you know. I think this is really pretty. Let's see what else we've got on this transfer. So you can pick out a piece. So you know how these transfers do. They line up so that they can make. Oh, what did you say, Heather? I can never get the halo to disappear. I'll show you how you can, Heather, and it's really very easy. As we go, you're going to see it. So I really love that. But do you know how in the Prima transfers that they always make them, and I want to make sure you guys can see this. I know you can't see me, but that's okay. But you know how they always make them a join. Well, if I want that flower, I can cut this around here, cut it out, and then I can adjoin them on my piece. So it's not that I can't use this one, but I feel like this one is a little big for my subject. So I think I'm going to turn it around, and let's go with this rose right here. And I'm going to cut around here, and I'm going to cut this leaf out, and you're going to say, oh my goodness, you're going to leave that rose without a side to it. It's all right, because I know that I can come back in and I can hand paint that rose back in. And some of you are saying, well, I can never do that because I don't do that. You know what, you guys, you really can. It's very, very, it's very easy, really, whenever you get the hang of it, you know. And I was surprised Roz came out with this beautiful piece. I didn't know she hand painted, and she did this Alice in Wonderland thing. It was awesome, Roz. I was just so blown away by that. Of course, I didn't know that you hand painted, so that was just really fun for me, because I thought, oh my goodness, that is so good. So here we go. Now I can line this up right here, and I want to make sure that I'm not over those flowers. So I can do one of two things, and this might be what I do because I want to fill this in. I might come down here and cause this flower to be here. So let's do that right now. And sometimes, you guys, as you put on your roses, they are just beautiful, just the way they are. And sometimes I don't totally, and you can see that's going to come over there a little bit, and that's okay, because we never have flowers lay on top of each other in our gardens, don't they? It's not like you just see, and then they're all separated unless you make them that way. So to me, that's a very authentic look. And I'm gonna put this on here real quick. And what I'm doing is I'm taking a $5 little thing from you know, the Goodwill, and I'm going to make it into something that I can put it into a booth, or if you've got a store, you can put it into your store, or you can sell it on Etsy, sell it online, you know, whatever you want to do with it. But you've taken something, you've repurposed it, you've given it a new purpose, and I always think that that's really awesome. Plus, you get the joy of doing, you know, your own design, you know. So I'm going to rub those in really well. And then I'm going to take this, and sometimes as you're doing your transfers, I want to make sure you guys can see this. Hopefully you can see this. If you can get some air bubbles, and let me move you guys down just a whittle. There you go. That might be better, huh? If you can get some air moving, and I'm trying to get my arm out of the way so you can see. If you can get some air moving under your transfer, it's going to help it release. I always try to get my edges really, really, really good. So let me release this first right here, because I think that's keeping that from releasing. Rub that, rub that, rub that. Okay, and then I'm going to rub that as I go, gently rub that as I go. And as most of you know, if there's a part of it that does not release, ouch, that went right up my finger, that little piece. If there's a part that does not release, you just put your thing down and rub it again. Okay. So I've kind of got them both on the same trajectory here, you know, and there we go. So it's just, I don't know, I just feel like these are really, really nice. They really are releasing really nice. I noticed that the other night whenever I was working with my piece. It just felt like they released so nice. I loved it. All right, so we've got that done. So now we're starting to build our little floral garden here. Let me see. I think I liked some of these on this sheet. I thought they were very light and pretty. I really like this right here, so I'm going to cut into this. I'm not really worried about the words because it doesn't really go with my motif of what I'm doing on this, even though it would be really pretty. But I'll save that, you guys, because I never know when I might just need a little bit of a hint of a word there, and maybe I might want to cut, since this is kind of a long and a narrow piece, I might want to come down here and just cut this little flower out. I kind of like that little thing too. So let's do that in there too. Let's see how that lays on our piece now. Okay, so then I can lay this around here, and that's going to come up. I kind of like that, maybe right there. Let me put you guys up now, because we're working up here. And then I'm going to, I think I'm kind of liking that, so I'm going to take this off. And that's going to go, okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I am going to cut this. I probably should have done this before I cut it, but I'll just lay this, I'll lay this to where the sticky side is up, and I can still use it, but I can place it where I want it to place it. Alrighty then. So that's just going to fit right in there. I think that looks really nice. And I always, like I said, I always start with my little pieces first and try to get them released. try to get this released. And it's releasing very nicely. And then I think we want a little, get this up here. I don't want to do so much that I run out of time and I'm not able to show you how you can add your own stuff to it. And how you can make each leaf look very nice, and you know, they just look beautiful just like this. But like I said, you know, sometimes you lose a leaf and you go, oh no, now it's going to have to look like it's you know, aged and old because I lost that leaf. Not necessarily. And you will see that in just a minute. Alrighty then. Oh, that came up. And if you have a flower, okay, so like right here, you can kind of see, and let me get that up here where you can see. You can kind of see that right here, it's not really jiving right here, and you can see those little bitty edges around here up close. And we're going to get rid of those, right? So now, well, let's see. Let's put on a little butterfly. Where's that little bit? I like that little butterfly. We'll do this little guy. He goes well. I love butterflies. I love butterflies. I love hummingbirds. I love, love, love to paint hummingbirds. It's just one of my favorite things. Okay, so he's kind of positioned this way. So I'm going to move you guys over just a little bit, and we're going to position him. Maybe he's like right here, close to this flower right here. And let me rub him down. Okay, so we got him on here. All right, so now I'm going to get out a brush. And I've got my impasto paints here by Prima. And I've got my little spray jar or spray thing right here. And I'm going to start working on this flower. So I'm going to bring you guys down. And I'm going to try to bring you in a little bit. Tell me if you feel like that's okay. Does that feel okay to you? Don't forget about your little sticky side up guy. Oh yeah, you're right. Let me see what happened to him. Okay, my little sticky little guy, he fell somewhere. And I don't have time to look at him. Uh-oh. I don't have time to look for him. I'm sorry. But I saw him fall and I was like, ew. But anyway, this is live TV, right? Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I've got beautiful impasto colors right here that I'm going to mix. And you can just kind of see I sprayed a little bit of water on there, and I'm just kind of letting them get a little runny, because that's the one thing about acrylic paints is that they are activated by water. And you can make them, the reason why I love the impasto paints is because they're very thick. And I really love working with that. Okay, so I'm going to add a little bit of this just to get me a little bit of darker. And I'm just going to come in here and I'm just going to work. And they might not end up looking exactly like this petal goes down like this. So I'm going to bring this down here. And maybe I want to build this right here. And then I can come back and take that color, that light pink color, and I can make a very light pink color by adding the white impasto paint. And that's how you do it, you guys. You work with your colors. So let's see. So here we go. I'm doing two things here. I'm making it look handmade, and I'm getting rid, or hand painted, and I'm getting rid of all those those lines. And then maybe it's, you know, maybe that petal's going to go like that. And if you've got an old transfer, if you're afraid to do this with, like, you know, transfer that you definitely want to use, and you're just like, oh man, I don't think I could do that, then what you do is you just get you maybe a piece that's torn, or maybe a piece that you didn't think that you could use. Here I am. I'm just going to make those leaves look a little hand painted, and if I want to, I can come back in here with a green and a white and maybe go like this, and just, you guys, it's just a straight little like that. You guys can do that, right? And it just kind of brings it to where it's starting to look very, very hand painted. And you just, all I'm doing is I'm following the Prima's lines, basically. You know, that's all I'm doing. I'm following what Prima set out and the designers at Prima set out. And I'm just giving this a little look of a hand-painted flower. And I might want that to go over that vine there. And then I've got this deep, dark purple right there. So I'm going to take Impasto Black and a purple, and I'm going to mix a little color right there. It's not going to be exactly like that, and that's okay. You know, and I'm just going to come in here and I'm just going to dab this around. Can you guys see well? Let me see. Hi, Tammy. How are you? I'm going to come around here and I'm just going to dab a little bit. And I hope that you can kind of see. I'm not really changing all that much of this transfer. All I'm doing is making it look just a little defined. And maybe I might want to come in here with just a little bit of white and add just a little bit of highlights, because my highlights are going to come from the sun that's coming that way, right? And then that just gave that just a little bit of life. We're going to move down here to this flower, and there again we're going into the I think it's called Raspberry Impasto paint. And I'm going to spray that a little bit just because I want it, you know, a little runny, and that's really, really light. So let me get some light on here. So I'm just going to follow what Prima told us, what Prima made, and you know, they aren't, the petals are not always even, are they? And I think, to me, where I really see a nice difference whenever I'm hand painting these transfers, where I see a nice difference is where the juncture of like this petal and this petal. Because what can happen is I can come back in and I can make this look very, you know, just very blended, very nice. And then I can come back in with a darker color and I can accentuate the start of that petal. You see that? And then I just bring it out here. Just bring that petal out there and maybe make it just a tad bit bigger, maybe. It's your design. It's a great design, and all you're doing is you are building on that design just to give it a little bit of uniqueness, just to give it a little bit of your own personality. Now down here you can see this is where I cut out. Let me turn you over just a little bit. This is where I cut out, and then you can kind of see that whole leaf is missing. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to add that leaf. Now sometimes when you're going from a light color into this dark color, you're not going to see as much. It might take you a couple layers because this is kind of see-through. So what I'll have to do is I will have to let that kind of dry, and I'll come back to that, and then I will build that to where you can't really see. Well, there you go. That did it right there. Just adding some white in here. And you can kind of see what I'm doing just to this flower. And I will finish this and then post it, you guys, so you can see what I did. I kind of want that to blend a little better. you know. Now you've got this leaf. It's a very dark leaf, so I'm going to take a dark green, add a little bit of black to it, and try to get down to that hue. And so I'm going to let that leaf come up here onto this petal. So that petal looks like it's underneath that leaf, and that leaf looks like it's over top, right? And I'm going to just come in here and just add a little bit of color right here. And you don't have to paint the whole thing. You can just do like little highlights. Just little highlights. You don't, you know, I mean, sometimes I come in and I reconstruct a whole flower, but most of the time, you guys, I'm just coming in and I'm just building a little bit of difference into the flower. And it makes, to me, I think it makes a big difference as far as uniqueness and as far as making it look very hand painted. So I'm going to mix up this dark color again, and I've got a little bit of this fuchsia here. I'm going to kind of double load, and we're going to go right down here to this dark flower. Now I love this flower. I think the only thing I want to do is take away a little bit of those halo effects. And here's another thing. If you get something where you don't want it, it's wet, take it and wipe it off. Let me put you guys down just a little bit. Okay, so look, I don't want that there. What do? I take it and wipe it off. And you see how easily it wipes off. Now, if you do it while it's drying, when it's wet, it's no problem, but you don't want to wait till it's dry. So maybe I want to add just a little bit of highlight on this side of this rose, you know, because my sun's coming in from that way, and I just want to make it just a little lighter, you know, just along the tips. And this one is just beautiful. It sure doesn't need much. All of them are beautiful, but this surely doesn't need much. But now down here, oh, there goes my dogs. Down here, where this comes up, just by taking it into the green and bringing it up a little bit, all of a sudden, I have made those leaves look like they're on top of that rose. It looks like they're, you know, they're on top of the rose. They're not bent down in there. Okay. So, and then I might want to just, right here, let me show you right here. Hopefully you guys can see this. See right here? That was from where I cut it out from that other pattern. So what do? Just come in here with this green color and just go like that. And there you go. So now you've went from a piece, you're making this piece individual to your own self, and that is beautiful, right? Okay, so let's work over here. Let me see where you guys are at. I'm going to work over here. If you've got any questions, like I said, please, please, please ask the questions when I get off. I always take the time and go back and answer questions. I just can't work quickly enough and answer a bunch of questions too. And I want to make sure that I don't leave you guys hanging at any place, okay? So here we've got this. Now on this area, and I haven't tried this before, when you've got the black type thing, I'm not afraid to try it. I'm just saying I haven't had anything like this. So how do we make that black match over here where it's got all so much color? So I'm coming into the yellow, and I might need a different brush. Let me get a thinner brush, because these are thinner. Little petals and stuff. That big brush probably won't do me. So this is an experiment for me as well, you guys. So I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to highlight this. Now I guess what you could do is you could put your yellow color down, then put your transfer on top of it. That might be a better way. I don't know, but I've already got it on here. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to go just like this. And you go, oh no, you're running it. Well, just wait. let's see what we can do. Let's see what we can do to this daisy. Then I'm going to come back with my black, and I'm going to come back in, and I'm just going to go back in here, and I'm just going to put those little dots back in, and it's almost like there's a middle right here. And I'm going to make that look, now, make that look, but it's got color in it now. And then I'd probably go into a deeper yellow, or maybe even this orangey type color, and come in and dab. You know, to make depth and to make your piece look like it's got depth and movement in it, it is all about doing different shades, different things. You can just kind of see that center there is kind of coming to life with color. And you know, now on the real transfer, it's kind of showing that those are all little tiny leaves. But you can make it however you want to make it, and that's the beauty of it. If you want it to look like that, then my question would be, and I think this would be, and I thought about this before I did it, but I thought, well, I'm not for sure how to do it. So I think my question would be to map out where these would be, put your color kind of in there, and then lay your transfer on top of it, and then the black would come out. That would be another way that you could do that, you know. But here I think I'm just going to make these look like a center, you know, a center to a daisy. You can make your daisies any color. They don't have to be yellow. You can also come in here. I mean, you can make, I've made pink daisies, I've made purple daisies, you know what I mean? You can come in here and you can just kind of do little bitty lines, just real lightly. If I could say anything about hand painting, I would say that when you do little, you know, you have a light hand on your brush, you can make these daisies whatever you want them to be. You know, all Prima is doing is giving us an idea of what we want, and you can just kind of see I've made that kind of come alive there just by adding a little bit of color and going back and forth from the oranges to the lights to the, and you could even come in here, you guys, with let's do this. Let's come in here with a really light pink and just kind of highlight a little bit. And that'll draw a little bit of that into this, and maybe we might want to put a little bit of that in this middle here. The sky is the limit, you guys. You are not, you can make it whatever you want to make it, you know. And so it just kind of is up to you what you want to do. And so as I continue to work down here, you know, I might just want to come in and just lightly go through here and add just a little bit of definition to these and I might want it to go over this flower here, making sure you guys can see me. Okay, I want to maybe make some of those come out like this. And let's say you don't like the pink. Let's say you've painted that and you go, oh, I don't really like the pink. So just dip back in to your colors, come back in here and just see right there, I'm taking out, maybe that's a little too much pink. Maybe I want to not have quite as much pink in here. Maybe I want to have maybe I want my right over here where there wasn't much, maybe I want to build some petals coming out. Whoops, sorry guys, I thought they'd be quiet. I got little yappers. Lola, Bethany, can you get Lola? They see something. They see a squirrel. Squirrel! And so they're off to barking. Sorry about that, you guys. So I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to just lightly fill this in. Maybe make some of my petals come up here. Make sure you guys are seeing what I'm seeing. Let's see, yeah, right here you guys can see. I'm so sorry I can't see your comments, but I want you to see what I'm doing more than I want to, you know, I can always go back and read your comments. And then we want to add that middle in here and just maybe dot it a little bit. Okay, and then I might want to go back with the black and just add in that little center right there, and you can kind of see. So you can kind of see what I'm working on here. And then I want to go up to, because we've only got maybe about 5 more minutes, so I want to go up here to this, and I'm going to add a bird up here, and then probably about 15-20 minutes, however long it takes me to finish this, I will post this up, you know, on the Prima page, and I'll just post what we did, maybe take a nicer picture of it where you guys can see the whole scope of what it is. So let's say we want to come in here and just fill this with, maybe randomly fill it with pinks, these little pieces here. Maybe we want to come down here, maybe we want to just do pinks coming. Okay, and then I want a cobalt blue. The impasto paints have a beautiful cobalt blue. So maybe I want to come in here with this cobalt just like this. And fill that in a little bit with the cobalt. Let me do some more. Let's do some cobalt right here. And we can come back and we can lighten that up. And I'll show you how I'm going to do that to bring a little depth to that. Now I think I want to have a pretty thin paint. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to almost make it look like a watercolor. I've got so much water in that paint. And I just kind of want to make it a watercolor effect. And blend maybe a little bit of that darker in there. And it's just very, very thin. It's not covering up those lines, you know, and it's giving that just a really pretty little. And then I want to come over here, put a little brown. Oops, that's too much. So I'm just going to go in there and wipe that off. You can always fix, well, I had that on my, you can always fix, you guys, what you painted. There's nothing that you can paint that you cannot fix, I don't think. Not in my estimation, though. So it's not anything to be afraid of. You go, oh man, I could never do that. Yeah, you really can. You know, you really can. And I am on, if you go over to my page, you'll see that I'm starting a new paint group. Some of you might be interested in joining that. It's going to be a lot about hand painting, florals, and all that kind of good stuff. Some of you who follow my page, you might be interested in that. And if you are, go over and you can check it out. I'll be starting May 5th. So let's say I go in here and I just want to make those lines just a little more definite. So I'm just going to come in here. I'm just going to outline those lines. I'm just following what Prima gave me to do, right? And then up here, I think I want a little bit of light. So let's go in here and let's highlight with this white right here. And maybe right along here. You know how they have kind of the white little dots sometimes, and that'll just mix kind of with that blue and give us a little bit of a highlight there, right? Maybe you might want to come in here and just add a little color in here. And there you go. You've got your butterfly pretty much. And you can work on it. I'll work on it. And then let's say up here, I want this to look more like a bud. So I'm just going to bring it up a little bit. bring those up just a little bit to make them look a little more. Maybe this one's hanging down like this. And then I'm going to bring a little bit of maybe white and fuchsia in here. And I'm going to add in a little bit of highlight here just to give it interest. And for some reason that white's not coming. Just to give it a little bit of interest. You know, you can do what you want. You know, you can make it look just like you want. And that's the beauty. That's just the beauty of being able, let's say I want a bud right there. Maybe I want a bud coming out of there. And I'm just going to come up here and I'm just going to draw me a little bud. Can you guys see that? Let me make sure you can see it. I'm sorry. I'm just going to draw me a little bud coming up here. And then I'm just going to put a little bit of white in there and let that shadow around. And there you go. You've got your little bud. And look at that. It just is so pretty, you guys. Now, let me see where I'm at. I'm at 7:51. A lot of times, if any of you follow me, you know that I'm into this thing. Let's just say I'm wanting to bring some little spindly looking things down through here and just all around. I just let them work and let them do. Now down here, let me show you on this. See right through here? Maybe you don't want it to look all black like that. You want it to mix in. So all you have to do is you gotta just go in here with a little bit of green, add you some greenery there. Maybe add a little bit of highlights here. Get that, whoop, that didn't work too good. I think my thing is done. So what do? I'll just come in here and just color it in. See, that's what I'm saying. You mess up, it's not really a mess up, you know. Maybe you want your stems to be, instead of being black, maybe you want them to be more green. Maybe you want to add a little bit of a highlight on there and add maybe a little more leaves on there. This is your guys's, you know, it's up to you what you want to do. Maybe you want that a little thicker, you know, and you just come up here and you just add that in. I do like the black though. I think it really does show up in this dark background. So you just keep working and you make it work until you sit back and you go, oh my goodness, I really love that. And that's the beauty, you guys, of all these transfers. You can mix and match. You can mix and match all the transfers, you know, and I love to do that. I love to come in and I love to take a flower from here, a leaf from there, you know, whatever from a different transfer, you know. And like I said, I very seldom just take one transfer and do it. I normally am building a design, building the look that I want, and then that way it's very unique to you and to your design, and that's the beauty. These transfers are fantastic because they allow someone, maybe you're not an artist and you just say, oh man, Carolyn, I love what you do, but ain't no way I could ever do that. You know, ain't no way. Yahweh, there is. You can do it. You can do it through your Prima transfers. It can make you feel like this awesome artist, and it gives you an outlet to make creativity come alive. All right, so you guys, let me get you up here where I can see you. So remember, every other, yeah, Lisa, what? Oh, hey, Lisa. Yeah, what a difference a little bit of paint makes, isn't it? You can do anything and make anything you want. You know, the only thing that's stopping you is fear. That's the only thing, because you say, I can't do it. You can. You pick up your paintbrush, you pick up your transfers, you pick up the tools that Prima's given us, and you just start working. And you're going to find out that you're doing things that you never thought you could do, right? So I'm so glad you guys joined me, and I hope you have a blessed rest of your night. And I will, like I said, I'll finish this up and then I'll post it on the page, and you can come back and you can go, oh, I really like that, or you can go, no, I don't, because I'm going to gild all around this is going to be waxed and all that kind of stuff. Okay, when do we seal it? Okay, that's a great question, Marlene. When you seal your pieces, I always let my transfers set overnight, always. I don't transfer and then immediately go seal. I normally try to use a satin. You can use a satin, you can use a flat, you can use a gloss, you can use whatever you want. Stay away from a polyurethane that is an oil-based. Always use a water-based poly. You know, Dixie Belle's offers a really nice satin one. I wouldn't use a heavy, if that makes sense, a very heavy poly on it, you know, water-based poly. I think I would use a lighter water-based poly, and that's what the satin poly is from Dixie Belle. And some of you others have your own favorite line that you use. Just let it set, I'd say overnight, at least 12 hours. And then you should be able to seal. But then I would wait and let that first coat set, I'm going to say a couple days, because what happens with paint is that it can feel like it's painted. Yes, polyacrylic is okay. Yes, polyacrylic, in my estimation, that's what I used to always use, but it does, they say it doesn't yellow, but it really does after a while. A little bit, but not like a but not like a polyurethane, it won't. But you can use that, Marlene, and I've used it for a long time, you know. Anyway, check out my Facebook page, and thank you for joining me on this Friday evening, and you guys have a very blessed day. Any questions you need, even after I go off, you can put on here, and you can ask questions. And just like the polyacrylic, Marlene, that's a great question. Sealing is a great question. And so put those on there, and I will always go back and answer. So you guys have a blessed night. I will see you 2 Friday nights from now. Okay, so it's every other Friday night. So I will talk to you guys later. All right, bye-bye.